So a few nights ago, Bernie Sanders and John Kasich had a town hall event, or actually I should say more of a debate. And there was one point where after like 40 or 45 minutes straight of bullshit questions about Russia and all that stuff, Bernie finally decided, you know what, I'm sick of your ridiculous questions. So he really ripped CNN host Dana Bash right to her face.
Senator Sanders, you clearly galvanized and inspired millions of people in 2016. Many of them are waiting for a signal from you about your plans for 2020. Should they wait around for you, or should they shop for another candidate?
I don't agree with that. And you have heard me both say this before. No, millions of people are not worried. We just had an election. Yeah. You guys never end. You're probably wondering who's going to be running in 2030. How old are your kids? Are they going to be running in, 2094?
You want to tell us that?
All right. But you know what? And this is a criticism that I have in the media, and you have heard me both say it. Talk about the issues. Why is it that the United States is the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people? Do you think it is moral that so few have so much and so many have so little? It is easy to ask whether Kasich is running or Sanders is running. That's easy stuff. It is harder to talk about oligarchy in America. It is harder to talk about trade policies. The American people, I beg to differ. They're not worried about whether Kasich or Sanders is going to run.
They're not worried about.
They're worried whether they're going to get decent pay for their jobs.
Bernie, my wife's worried about it. She doesn't want to go through all this again.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Well, maybe
just for the record, we're not afraid of hard. We're not afraid of hard. We're not afraid of hard questions and issues, and we are talking about that, and we will continue to talk about that. But I have to say that you're not going to want to hear this. Maybe both of you won't. Maybe you will. That online, apparently, our viewers are saying that they're loving this, and some people are wondering if maybe there's a joint ticket in your future.
Are they dense? Is she dense? He just got through ripping you for asking frivolous questions, and then you ask an even more frivolous question. Two people who are completely ideologically opposed, who agree on maybe, if I'm being generous, 5% of, are you guys going to run together in 2020? He just ripped you for asking stupid questions about 2020. Now understand, is it okay to have that conversation? Yes. But it's only okay after you've discussed the real issues affecting real people. If you talk about 45,000 people dying every year because they don't have access to basic health care, if you talk about half the country making $30,000 a year or less, if you talk about the richest 8 people in the world having more wealth than the bottom 3.5 billion, 50% of the planet, yet then you could talk about, okay, let's speculate about 2020. But you haven't spoken about healthcare. You haven't spoken about taxes. You haven't spoken about the economy. You haven't spoken about Wall Street and the deregulation crisis and the new bubble that we're in. You haven't spoken about $450 billion of taxes dodged every year by multinational corporations because they store it overseas and dodge their taxes and get away with it because they buy the government. You haven't spoken about the $80 billion subsidy every year that the big banks get. Meanwhile, we don't even have clean water in Flint, Michigan. Our infrastructure gets a grade of D+. Are you kidding me? He just ripped you for not asking serious questions about serious issues affecting real people, and you immediately go back to, but what about a joint ticket? No, but see, this is why Dana Bash is in that position. CNN hires her because she won't rock the boat. That's why she's there. Why the fuck do you think they have Wolf Blitzer on in the middle of the day? Okay, there was a tweet from Wolf Blitzer the other day that was the most Wolf Blitzery of all Wolf Blitzer tweets I've ever seen. He said, always nice to see a turtle. That's everything about Wolf Blitzer you know from that tweet. Boring, blasé, willing to toe the line of the establishment and do a neutrality bias all day long, and you never discuss real issues. They don't want real issues discussed, because if you discuss real issues, it affects their corporate bottom line. That's the problem with corporate media. They're never going to ask real questions, which is why new media is the only answer. And you guys know that's why they jacked our funding. So we were on a blacklist for a while and made no money. We would get 400,000, 500,000 views a day and made nothing from ads. And by the way, for our ads, there's a firewall. I never speak to an advertiser because the way it works is YouTube and Google talk to them, and then I get paid based off how many views I get. But they just decided one day, hey, we're just going to jack all the funding for progressive and independent media. Nah, they rocked the boat too much, and we'll come up with some bullshit scandal about how some Nazi things are getting ads, so take it from Secular Talk too. Why not? Take it from Secular Talk, take it from Humanist Report, take it from Jimmy Dore Show. Go ahead, just jack the funding, and it is what it is, but then you guys came in and saved us. I mean, and look, you're the primary funders of the show. We're a grassroots-funded show now. So patreon.com/Secular Talk, you guys kept us alive because you see the value of what we're doing. All I ask is like $2 a month. If you like the show, $2 a month. That's it. Like a cent per video. And that makes it so that we can discuss real issues. We're beholden to nobody. And you guys understand that we are the antithesis of CNN and Dana Bash and Wolf Blitzer and Don Lemon and all the let's not talk about anything real people. Let's ask goofy questions about 2020 and Russia and only focus on that and never get to the stuff that's affecting working people in America and that it unveils, takes the mask off of our imperialist foreign policy and military-industrial complex. We're never going to stop talking about the real issues, which is why in the long run, we'll continue to beat their ass. By the way, in the key demographic, Secular Talk beats CNN in the middle of the day. That's with an advertising budget of $0.00. Because you guys understand, we're talking about real stuff, like Bernie's trying to talk about real stuff there, and they're doing everything to distract you from the real stuff.